Hello, everybody. Welcome here to the Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show, a show dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. So, this is the live stream I do on Sunday nights called Into the Proverse, in which we explore some aspect of progressive rock throughout what I would call the universe of prog. So, there's a lot of stuff out there. I decided that this band, which I don't normally consider a progressive rock band, has put out quite a bit of progressive stuff lately and has a fair number of earlier on progressive albums as well throughout their discography. Early on and then the middle, there was a little bit too, and then a little bit more later. They've always liked kind of doing the concept albums as well. But they've been a band. I started listening to them in 1978, midsummer 1978, when my friend got the first album by them. And then I got one later the next year. Actually, I think it might have been in 1980. But at any rate, I started following this band regularly at that point. And although I don't really think of them as a progressive rock band, they do have quite a bit of progressive stuff. And we're going to go over some of that today. I'm just going to flip my stack over because I realized I had it upside down. So we're going to talk about the albums from this band, Styx. We're going to go through what I have collected in my Styx collection over the course of my life, I guess. Some of these albums go back, some of these CDs go back to the beginning of CDs back in the early or mid 80s, or I guess it would have been late 80s at the time. So by 88, 89, that's when I kind of started collecting. I have several of them that I got in that time period, and I've added to it since. This was a nice grab here. All four of the Wooden Nickel albums are here, and we're going to talk about them first. But before we get going, please hit the like and subscribe. That's much appreciated. I hope that you guys will enjoy this episode. I've been looking forward to doing this particular one because I'm a big fan of Styx. And this is my actually second live stream today. First one in the morning, it was okay, but I think we're going to move that one to Thursday night as well. So we'll have two of them on Thursday night, and we'll just alternate them one week, one the other week. So the first one, so tonight we're going to start by talking about the Wooden Nickel collection. As you can see, it clearly says that. These were all albums by Styx released on the Wooden Nickel label back in the early 70s. I think the first one came out in 72, if I am correct. I'll take out the booklet here for a second just to get a feel for it. So here's a picture of them early on. Yeah, I think the first one was in 72, which was this particular album. Right there. This is Styx, their debut album. I'm not really sure what they're attempting to achieve here. It's a bunch of people in looks like a cave area, and then there's burning through it, and they're all standing naked behind a fire flame. So I'm not really sure what the hell is going on there. But so this featured JY, Dennis DeYoung, John Krulowski, Chuck, and John Panazzo, the twins. So this was their first album. It's not a bad album. The Movement for the Common Man is okay. It's a bit lengthy. And then you also have Fanfare for the Common Man, which is just a short bit, which comes later in the album. Nothing really stood out here for me when I was listening to it. A lot of these songs were written by different people other than the members of the band. And so you've got about 5 or 6 tracks on here written by different people other than members of the band. And it was produced by Bill Trout and John Ryan. So it's a decent enough album, pretty proggy for an opening album. If I'd been starting with Styx at the beginning, I would have immediately thought this is a prog band. So that's the first album there. Second album out is Styx 2, much more famously known album. This one is probably, of the early Wooden Nickels album, many consider this the best of those albums because it pretty much, they do a lot more of their own writing here. There's Actually, there's nobody else writing on here except for the members of the band, and pretty much dominated by Dennis D. Young. I don't believe JY wrote anything on this album. I don't see his name anywhere. It's got the song, of course, "Lady," which is their first big hit, among the first power ballads too. So this album came out in 1974. So did the first one come out in 72? I thought it was, yeah. First one was released in 72, second one released in 74. Pretty much the same, it's the same lineup as was in the first band. You got Dennis doing most of the vocals. I think John Kulowski does one song or two songs on the album. This is a heavier album than the first one, I think. Not as proggy. More of a hard rock album than the first one. And I do like this cover, even though it's kind of very simple, but I like it anyways. Styx 2. Their third album is probably my favorite of their early Wooden Nickel albums. It's a quirky album, though. There's no two ways about it. There's a fair amount of quirky stuff on this. Witch Woman on here, James Young singing on this particular track. Really good, nice opening track for this album. Grove of Eglantine. Not really sure what that's all about, but that's Dennis D. Young on vocals. And then Young Man, another JY song. As Bad as It Gets, this is Kulowski's song, singing this song. And then you've got a fair number of different songs on here. I'm looking for the one that I can't find it. Jonas Salter, Winner Takes It All. I can't remember the song I'm thinking of. There's one on here I believe it's this album that has the one that's kind of almost a calypso kind of Caribbean song. It's kind of funny, but I like it. It's catchy as hell. So this is their third album. This one was first released in 73, I guess. So what? Weird. It's not really giving accurate times here. Okay, so this one, let's just do this again because they're giving like 3 or 4 different dates. This was first released in 72. This was first released in 73. This was also first released in 73 and then re-released again. So what you're getting the first releasal dates plus the second releasal dates for some of them. And then the re-releasal dates because the original album, these original 4 albums were all on Wooden Nickel, and so they weren't mass put out there. So once Styx became bigger, some of their earlier albums were re-released. This one, their final of the Wooden Nickel era albums, Man of Miracles. Maybe the best cover of the 4 original albums. Very kind of proggy looking. The album is kind of proggy as well. For some reason, I didn't really warm up to this album as much as I thought it would. There's a couple of interesting tracks. It's a little bit more proggy than some of their earlier stuff, but overall, I know a lot of people like this one the best of the original Wooden Nickel albums, either this or Styx 2. But I never warmed to this one as much as I did to the predecessor, Serpent Rising. But still a good album cover, absolutely. So that's the early Wooden Nickel collection by Styx, their first 4 studio albums, released from 72 through to 74. And it come in a nice collection box like this, although I have broken them inside once, maybe twice actually, I'm not sure. So the next album up is really their first big album, in my opinion. Not only is this a big album, I think this is an absolute masterpiece album. It didn't do well commercially, and I don't think it was because of the songs or the production or anything to do with the album. I just don't think it wasn't promoted right. So this is the last album to feature John Kulowski on guitar before Tommy Shaw comes in. But it's absolute killer. I love the album cover. I like that blue ice with flame The Styx logo is beautiful as well. Even better on the back here like that. It only has the 8 tracks on here, but of course Prelude is very short. Prelude to Sweet Madam Blue. But this has some of Styx's biggest classics. Sweet Madam Blue, Lonely Child, and Lorelei are all on this, and Light Up as well. All 4 of those songs got quite a bit of airplay, quite a bit of radio play. Lorelei and Sweet Madam Blue are probably the 2 big ones. But for me, Midnight Ride with James Young on vocals and Born for Adventure don't get enough attention, and I think they deserve it. They're as good as any of those other 4 tracks. But this album from top to bottom is very good. The only song that kind of I don't think is as good as the others is Mother Dear, but it's still not a bad song either. But the other ones, Light Up, Lorelei, really good. Lonely Child, one of my favorites on this album and by Styx as a whole. Born for Adventure, very good deep cut, and Sweet Madam Blue, which is maybe the best track on the album. Really good, solid album. And this came out in 75. The last album to feature John Kulowski on it. So next up is Crystal Ball. This is their 76 release. So it's only 7 tracks on this one. I don't like this album as much as the Equinox. It's top heavy. It's got 2 or 3 tracks at the top I think are absolutely great. Crystal Ball, of course, the title track by Tommy Shaw. So Tommy Shaw comes in and gets the title track right off the bat. The other Tommy Shaw song, Mademoiselle, also very good, very strong track on this album as well. There's a couple of other tracks. Put Me On. I do like this track a little bit, but for the most part, an Old Man. Old Man is the other big track for me. Ballerina, Shoes, Jennifer. They're okay. They're not subpar songs. I just don't think they're as good as the rest of the album. And to me, this is kind of a ignition stalled album when Tommy came in. Usually you expect Tommy Shaw to come in. It's going to be a knock it out of the park. And he actually was quite good on the album, and the album has some potential, but I just don't think the track choices were the best that could have been had. So I put this as a bit of a stall after Equinox. Next up is their masterpiece album. Many consider to be not only their best album, but among the best prog albums ever produced, really. Grand Illusion is the title of this album, released in 1977. I believe it was released on July 7th, 1977. So 4 sevens in a row. You've got Chuck, James, and Dennis, and Tommy, and John Panozzo all on this album. So this is the classic lineup of the band. Now that John Kulowski's gone, Tommy Shaw this is his 2nd album with the band. He really shines here. The whole album is pretty much a masterpiece. Sort of a concept album too, I think. It has a general theme, I guess is a better way to put it. The Grand Illusion, opening track, one of their best, very progressive. I love the album cover too, by the way, fantastic. And then the back one with them all behind the trees is really good too. But yeah, the Grand Illusion opening is fantastic. The song is really good. Well worth, to me, it's well worth the effort to listen to this whole album from top to bottom. Fooling Yourself, The Angry Young Man. This is a really strong track as well. Superstars. This is a little bit of a different song. I don't mind it. It's never been one of my favorite on the album, but I do like it. Come Sail Away, of course, is the quintessential, probably one of their biggest hits and one of the most well-known Styx songs ever released. I don't really want to hear it anymore because it's on the playlist they have at work and they never change it. For a year now, I've heard this song 2 or 3 times a day. God, I've tuned it out to the point where I don't even want to hear it ever again. It's such a sad state when they do that to you, torture you with songs you love. Miss America, I put this at right near the top of my favorite JY songs. I don't know if it's my favorite, but if it isn't, I don't know who would beat it, really. Man in the Wilderness, Castle Walls, very progressive. Both of them excellent songs, very underrated, but among the best Styx progressive songs out there. And then they end up with the grand finale, which is just a kind of reminds me of What Gorilla and Los Endos from Genesis, that kind of throw-in song. But yeah, good album, great album, masterpiece album. Many consider it to be their best and one of the best albums of all time. Next up, this is probably my favorite album of all time. It's my favorite Styx album for sure. It's got the Battle of the Bands next week. It's going to be in. Let's see if it can win and prove to continue to be my favorite album. So this is Pieces of 8. I love this album cover, and the back is good too. I love the little Easter Island stones there. It's great. So this has 10 tracks on it. And if you take Aku Aku and the message out of there, which are little bits that they put in there to tie songs together or to end the album in the case of Aku Aku, there are no weak tracks on this album at all. Starts out with A Great White Hope. That's a JY song. Absolutely killer. Maybe rivaling Miss America for my favorite of him. I'm Okay. Great tune. Great song to sing. I love the way they sing this. It's fantastic. Sing for the Day. Tommy is absolutely killer on this track. One of 3 songs that he has on this album that are all killers. Sing for the Day. Fantastic tune. You got Lord of the Rings, very kind of progressive sounding song. It's another one of my favorites to sing, along with Pieces of 8, the title track. To me, they're both interchangeable. I like them both for almost the same reasons. Blue Collar Man, really heavy song, along with his other big hit, Renegade. Both these songs got a lot of airplay, get a lot of attention. They're both very heavy, very rocking, lots of great guitar in both of the songs. Then you've got Queen of Spades, arguably my favorite Styx song. No, it's not really an argument. It is my favorite Styx song. One of my favorite rock songs altogether. I think Dennis is absolutely perfect on this song. The song sends chills up my spine when I hear it. I sing it all the time and I love it. So this is my favorite album. At least it is until we see what happens on next Saturday. Anyways, Pieces of 8. This was released in 79 as well, just in case, or 78, just in case I forgot to mention that. So now we move on. So that's the kind of the end of that 80s kind of hard rock progressive era of Styx. And then they move now into their more poppy era. It's kind of the beginning of the pop, although this is a bit of a transitionary album. Cornerstone, I do like the album cover quite a bit. It's got a feeling of a science fiction album. To me, that's what it feels like. The songs are pretty memorable, almost all of them. They're a lot less power driven than they were in the previous album. This album is a lot more poppy, a lot more folky, actually, too. It's got a lot of kind of folky stuff going on here. So you've got Lights, which is a really good opening song. Very poppy, but nice lyrics and nice vocals. This album may be one of their best vocal albums as well. Why Me? Same kind of thing going on as Lights. Babe, of course, is the ballad and arguably their biggest hit of all time. I think it's their biggest hit. My wife liked this when I was married. My wife liked this song and forced me to sing it a lot. And actually, I didn't mind doing it until the end, and I don't want to sing it ever again. I don't want to see it ever again either. Never Say Never. This is a good song. Not a fantastic song, but it's memorable. Boat on the River. This is one of the best deep cuts by Styx. I like this. It's kind of folky. They're all playing different instruments. They're not playing their traditional instruments here. It's got a kind of a folky sound to it. The vocals by Tommy are great on this as well. Borrowed Time, good song. It did well on the charts. Then you've got First Time, another song that did quite well on the charts. So they had several songs here, I think, that were notable. Babe, Borrowed Time, First Time, and Why Me. Those were all really well-known songs. Then you get the final two tracks here, which I think personally are two of the three best songs on the album, Boat on the River being the other one. Eddie, that's JY song, really catchy song. Happens to be about Edward Kennedy. That's the story. I think that's the story about Edward Kennedy. And then Love in the Midnight, which I think is, the vocals are absolutely great on this. Maybe the best song on the album, to be honest. It's really held up well for me anyways. So Cornerstone, released in 1979, the last of the 70s albums for Styx. Ended on a bit of a poppy note. Next up is released in 1981, or actually it says 1980, but I always thought this was an 81 release. Oh, well, I'm not going to argue with it. See if it, no, yeah, it's 1980. I actually thought this was a little bit later than that. So we've got Paradise Theater. Maybe for me, it was kind of the last of their albums that I liked for a long time. Anyway, they went, to me, I thought they were finished after this album, really. It does have some really good stuff on it. Rockin' the Paradise is pretty good. But the two big ones for me on this are Too Much Time on My Hands, which I think is a big hit for Tommy Shaw and for the band. And The Best of Times, which I think is also a pretty big hit. And I liked both of these tracks, despite the poppy nature of both. I do like them. The rest of the album, pretty good. Not terribly memorable. Snowblind is good. Half Penny, Two Penny is okay. Nothing Ever Goes as Planned, and it's okay too. But the album cover's not bad either, even the back one. Pretty good. Now, the interesting thing about this album is that it says Paradise Theater with the ER. And then if you look at it at the front, it says Paradise Theater with the RE. So both kind of spellings of it. I'm not really sure what the significance is of that. I actually remember reading something about it, but I don't remember exactly what it was I read. Anyways, that was my first. What is that? That's the first. Well, actually, it's more than the first, right? Oh, sorry, I put them on the wrong stack here. Put them over here. So you've got their first 10 studio albums, all pretty good. Then they went for a bit of a toast dive, I think, with the next several albums. This one here, I got this one not too long ago. This was 1990. So I think this was the album that came out after Kilroy Was Here. Kilroy Was Here, I never liked. I just never liked the album. This one, I'm not a big fan of this one either, although it does have a couple. Show Me the Way is okay, because it's the kind of hit. The rest of the album is pretty unmemorable for me. To me, this would be the first album that's kind of not rated. So if you know me, you know I don't rate them if I don't like them. I just don't rate them. They may change and then get a rating. Otherwise, they're 3, 4, 3, 2, or 1, or a masterpiece. This one hasn't got a rating, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. I've listened to it maybe twice or 3 times. The last time I listened to it was okay. I kind of warmed up to it a bit. The previous 2 times, I didn't like it at all. So now we're going to go on to the more modern era of Styx. I call this the modern era, or the post Dennis DeYoung. So Dennis DeYoung left the band. They wouldn't let him back in. And, we've heard this story. He insists that they should just do a final tour and end it. And they are insisting that they're going on as a new band, and he's not part of that. They don't want anything to do with it. Some people think that Dennis is right, that Styx is finished. They should just sew it up and forget about it, or do one last tour with Dennis DeYoung and cut their losses. And then there's people like me who think that their last 3 albums are almost as good as anything they've done. That's the way I feel about it. I think I'm not alone in that. So the first of those 3 albums, I own the last 3, is The Mission to Mars. This is a first of 3 concept albums. This is quite good. I don't mind it. There are some good stuff on here. I'm only just getting into it now, and I noticed that I'm going to have to put a new back on this, so I'll set it aside. It's got some cracks in it. This is a good album. I don't think it'll win any. It probably wouldn't make. Might make my top 10 Styx albums. I don't know. I still have several more to get before I'm finished my collection. But there's some good stuff on here. There's a couple of others prior. There's like 3 or 4 between this one and this one. And I don't have any but this. I have this. I don't have the other one. I don't think there's Brave New World. And there's one that came out right after. There's one that's a collection of covers. And there's, I think, Kilroy was here, and there might be one other in there too, but I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to go look. I think it's like 4 or 5 that I don't own. But this one is kind of the beginning of when I came back to the band, and I like this. It's pretty solid. The Mission. So the next album up came out in 2021. Actually, this one I should tell you came out in 2017, I believe, 2017. This one came out, and the next one came out in 2021, Crash of the Crown. I love this cover. This is absolutely great. Very classic Styx sound to it. I like a lot of tracks on this album. Crash of the Crown, The Monsters, Fight for Our Lives, really good. Common Ground, Crash of the Crown itself, great tune. Long Live the King, Lost at the Sea. It's just from top to bottom, this is a great album, I think. Revelries, another good one. Our Wonderful Lives. There just isn't anything bad on this album. There's only a couple things on here that I wish there was more of. The songs are a little short, not really long. I don't think there's anything over 3 minutes, really. Without looking, I don't think there is. It's a nice cover. It's a gray theme thing. Another kind of theme album as well. And the only other thing is there's not enough JY. I think he only sings as all 3 of them sing on a couple of track, or on at least one track anywhere, where they each do a verse. And I wished he sang more, but maybe his voice is kind of gone by that point in time. So that's their 2021 album. Probably my favorite over the last since Paradise Theater. It might make the top 5 of my favorite Styx albums of all time. And then, of course, the new one, which I have not opened yet or listened to, Circle from Above. This is the new one. Just got it the other day. It's not open yet. It will be when I do my new albums purchased at the end of the month. I will open it then, but I will probably be listening to it online before then, because it needs to. Well, it's going to go on next Saturday's What's New. I will do that. I do like this bird. They did a nice kind of picture of this bird, but it's clearly a starling of some kind, but they've added color to it, I'm sure, because starlings are not that color. They do have the speckle look to the rest of them. Maybe it's not a starling. Maybe it's a type of starling. I'm not sure. But anyways, this looks like 13 tracks, so probably shorter tracks again. So I'm looking forward to a couple new members join the group as well. Ricky Phillips has left the band and has been replaced by the guy who is the producer of the albums, and I can't think of his name offhand. Sorry. And Chuck Panazzo is back on the album again. Now that Ricky's gone, he's playing on some of the songs as well. So it's nice to see Chuck back. And so there it is. That's the final album in my discography as far as their studio stuff. I do have a couple of non-studio albums, the first of which is Greatest Hits that somebody gave to me. I don't even know how long ago, but I've had it for a while, and it has almost all of their hits. Lady, Best of Time, Lorelei, Too Much Time in Your Hands, Babe, Fooling Yourself, Show Me the Way, Renegades, Come Sail Away, Blue Collar Man, The Grand Illusion, Crystal Balls, Sweet Madam Blue, Miss America, Mr. Roboto, and Don't Let It End. Yep. So pretty much got all their hits on this. I used to play this quite a bit before I started collecting them again, and now I don't listen to it at all, really, but it was good. And this live album, which is Styx World Live 2001. I did do a video on this. If you want, you can go watch it. It's in my live experience. Quite a few songs in here that most people know. Rockin' the Paradise, Lorelei, and there's one song by, sorry, it'll come to me. Anyways, we'll go on from that and they'll come back to it. Boat on the Rivers here. Sing for the Day, Snow Blind, Crystal Ball, Miss America, Come Sail Away. But I don't think this is a great live album. I never really think much of Styx live other than the newer videos that have come out in recent years. I think are pretty good. But to be honest, I've seen the Dennis D. Young Band, and they're just as good. They perform those classic Styx songs almost as good as Styx does themselves. The difference between the two is that Dennis D. Young does do some of the stuff from Kilroy Was Here and some of the other stuff that came out after it. The Styx doesn't generally do any of that stuff anymore. Lawrence Gowan was who I was trying to think of. Sorry, I drew a blank there. So the song Criminal Mind is on here too. That's a great album, by the way. Just funny that they put it on a Styx album, but I guess you can do whatever you want when it's your band, right? And this is Come Loose here. I just see. I'm going to try to put it back in. So the only problem with these covers is they got these little hook things to hold them in place, but sometimes the hook things break off and then nothing's holding them in place, which seems to be the case with this one. Anyways, Styx live, World Live, 60 minutes, 68 minutes worth of stuff. There is a couple of videos online of them live in concert. I think there's Styx doing The Grand Illusion and The Pieces of Eight from top to bottom, both albums. That's great. And then there's a Dennis D. Young one where he's doing pretty much a Styx greatest hits type thing with people he's chosen to replace the members of the band. To be honest with you, the guy that's playing Tommy Shaw is looking so much like bang on vocally too. Anyways, that's my Styx collection. I hope you guys enjoy that part of it. I didn't rank them or anything. I'm waiting till I get all the Styx albums so I can rank them. The ones that I'm missing are probably going to all be at the bottom anyways, but just in case I'm wrong, I like to wait until I get them all. So that's what I decided to do for this show. And then I'm going to come up with another topic, which we will do next week for the next show. I think it'll be kind of a one-off topic on something of interest to me. And I'm thinking I'm going to do something with the Big Six again. We did one not too long ago. It was kind of enjoyable. It was a nice kind of topic for it too. So this one, I think we're going to do, or actually I might have done that on the mini series that we're doing, one question. I think maybe that's where I did that. So I may do something here on it, talking about the Big Six, which is something I've wanted to do. So we'll probably do something like that here next live stream. So anyways, I'm going to end the video now. I hope everybody has a good evening. Please hit the like and subscribe. If you want to put anything on, any messages, you want to leave any messages or anything like that, you can put them in the comment section and I will answer them if I get a chance to do so. And I hope to see you all next week for another episode of the live stream. So take care and have yourself a good evening. And from Prog Monster, goodbye.